In this corner, standing well over the height of a mountain and weighing in at nearly as much as one, Animar, Soul of Elements. This 1/1, wait, 1/1, he costs 3 mana and he's a 1/1? You know who's also a 1/1? The Doom Traveler, and he even makes a little spirit when he dies that can fly. Okay, people, seriously though. Animar Soul of Elements costs 1 blue, 1 red, 1 green for a 1 power and 1 toughness creature with 3 abilities. His first ability is built-in protection from black and from white. Small as he is, Animar is one of the most resilient commanders to counteract spot removal. Your opponent thinks he's got you with Path to Exile? Nope. Go for the throat? Get that out of here. As if that weren't enough, Animar's second ability pumps him up by a +1/+1 counter every time you cast a creature spell. He doesn't even care if the spell gets countered. Basically, the more creatures you play, the bigger our boy/girl/anthropomorphized mountain gets. Lastly, and this part's the real kicker, the more counters that Animar has, the cheaper your creatures cost by 1 colorless mana. Are you starting to see the pattern here? Basically, play Animar, play creatures, Animar gets bigger, you get to play bigger creatures, then you get the biggest Animar, and then you do lethal damage. Animar wants you to play a heavily focused creature deck. Creatures with enter the battlefield effects that mimic spells are hugely impactful in this style. Wood Elves, widely considered a great commander card for 3 mana, is an even better card for Animar, as it costs effectively 0, ramps us a land, and makes our commander bigger. When deciding on whether or not you want to keep an opening hand, consider this. To have a real chance in the game and not get completely locked out by having your commander countered, you want Animar to hit the field as early as turn 2 and as late as turn 3. Knowing this, you want to make sure your opening hand has access to all 3 of the colors, with as few enter the battlefield tapped lands as possible. Mana Dorks can also help speed this along, with cards like Birds of Paradise and Bloom Tender helping us to achieve our early goals. Bloom Tender in particular is a great turn 2 play, as you immediately can tap him the turn you cast Animar for 3 mana. You're also going to want to start swinging with Animar as soon as he comes out to get a bit of early commander damage. You'll be surprised how quickly our modest little 1/1 can become a hulking 6/6 or bigger by turn 4. It's usually around this point when people use board wipes to help deal with our huge board state. By mid-game, chances are people will have started to target you. Those cheap mana dorks and land-fetching creatures might have been cute, but resolving a Purphoros God of the Forge for 1 red mana or a Maelstrom Wanderer for 3 makes you everyone's primary threat. Since our mid-game is like our late game, much as our early game was like our mid, you want to start gearing up to protect your stuff. Animar can easily cast game-winning cards, or have established board states that all can but close out games if left unresolved, and to that end, we need to protect him. With much thanks to the blue in our commander's colors, we have access to a bevy of counterspell and redirection type cards and creatures. Stratus Dancer, Venser Shaper Savant, Draining Whelp, and Willbender Mage are just a few such cards that we can pick for our deck. Redundancy is a key component to EDH, as with a singleton format, having only 1 card that does a crucial ability is asking to be blown out when it's removed. As a relatable example, let's look at my iPod. I have 5,000 songs on it, all of which are Space Jam. What this means is that no matter what I'm doing, I could be working out, getting mugged, being buried alive, anything. But at the end of the day, I always have access to Space Jam. I hope you take this to heart, because when you start building your deck, you don't want to run only a single card for a desired effect. Animar in particular wants to make sure you have redundancy for counters, haste enablers, creature tutors, land ramp, and creature bounce. Now that we've established our game plan, let's look at some of the strengths and weaknesses for the deck. For strengths, Animar is a great build-around commander. He requires players to have a very specific deck type in mind, but he really pushes the limit on creature-based decks. No matter what build you do, Animar can always win through general damage or through the combat step by swinging with creatures. It also doesn't hurt that Animar is a massive, combo-friendly commander. His colors lend themselves to be easily abusable, and you can frequently blow out games consistently. Another reason is that it's deeply satisfying to cast Eldrazi creatures like Kozilek and Ulamog for free. With access to green, you can usually recover key components you might lose from your graveyard. Cards like Eternal Witness, Den Protector, and Green Warden of Murasa make board wipes hurt a little bit less. Lastly, if you've ever looked for a deck where you can play morph creatures, Animar is the deck to do it in. Usually you can cast them for free, much like artifact creatures, but they work with another strong card in Animar, Cloudstone Curio. Let's turn to the weaknesses now. I know I said that green helps us get stuff back from the graveyard, but board wipes still hurt. Often, a well-timed board wipe can snatch a victory from us. Having to restart mid-game with a 1/1 Animar is not what the deck wants to be doing. You also need to be aware that 9 out of 10 times you are going to become the primary focus of everyone at the table. Remember that turn 4 Vornaclex? That didn't make you friends. Lastly, be prepared to have to take long turns. If you go the combo route, oftentimes you'll spend 5 or more minutes resolving enter the battlefields and trigger effects. This can lead to less fun for everyone and really solidify any reason that people might have had for targeting you. Hopefully this review will give you a bit of an idea of the direction you want to take the deck, so here are a few suggestions I have about cards you might want to consider running. Bounce creatures like Dreamstalker and Shrieking Drake are great inclusions. Both cards might as well read, pay 1 blue, add a countered Animar for as much blue as you have. They can also bounce back critical cards in response to removal in your turn, or, if you have Prophet of Kurfix out, other people's turns. Earthcraft is an incredible enchantment, and one of the few non-creature spells in my deck. It allows all of those early land-fetching creatures to essentially untap the lands they find, making them effectively free. Glimpse of Nature, Soul of the Harvest, Primordial Sage, and Slithermuse are just a few ways the deck can replenish its hand. Also, don't forget, Animar gives a discount to evoke costs. I mentioned it earlier, but Cloudstone Curio is easily the backbone of the deck. It provides us with a consistent way to bounce creatures back to our hand to reuse their enter the battlefield effects. You can also respond to that trigger by tapping the creature with Earthcraft, allowing some pretty degenerate ramping/ability recycling combos. Lastly, it is crucial that you run morph creatures like Anox Survivalist and Nantuko Vigilante. Torpor Orb can shut the deck down, so you want to have ways to remove the troublesome artifact that doesn't involve creatures entering the battlefield. Well everybody, that was my review on Animar, Soul of the Elements. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this video. Thanks again!